When did I know that I wanted to marry Gillian? So, I first asked her out in January, and, shortly after that, I think on the third date or something, I told her, I'm not looking for a girlfriend. I'm not looking for just a good time or just a situationship or whatever. I'm looking for a wife, and I want to walk towards that with you. So from the beginning, we were always seeing each other with the intention of marriage and walking towards that together and kind of scoping each other out. Obviously, I didn't see any red flags or anything like that. But way long before I met Gillian, I made a list in my phone a long list, by the way, of attributes that I was looking for in a wife. And I was believing God for that. And I was resistant to looking at that list. I hadn't looked at it for a long time. And, a few months into dating Gillian and getting to know Gillian, I finally opened that list up again. And, she literally checked every box. It was like probably 30 things on that list. And it was amazing. It was total confirmation. And we decided that we were going to get married in March, actually. She said, we were sitting on the couch watching TV or something, or a movie, and she was like, so have you been thinking about marriage? And, other than the fact that we were spending time together and kind of evaluating each other for that purpose, I really hadn't, but I said yes. And then, yes, I have. You go first. And she was like, well, I was thinking November. And I was like, wow, okay. November sounds good. So that's when I knew we were actually getting married. But I would say the moment I knew I was going to marry Gillian, and the moment I knew that she was my wife was when I got that confirmation, and that was really cool. Okay, what are you most excited for in marriage? What am I most excited for in marriage? I'm very excited about a lot of things. It's going to be so fun to build a life together with Gillian. She compliments me and certainly softens my rough edges, and she is everything that I'm not, and she is my perfect complement, and I'm just so looking forward to building a life with her. I know she's a lot more frugal than me, which is really good, and she is, has that feminine eye, so she's going to make our house a home, and I can't wait to have kids with her and start a big family, hopefully. And I'm just so excited for everything, for every single step and milestone, and every step throughout the process. So I know we're going to do really good things, and we're going to seek the Lord together, and it's going to be an awesome time. And I'm looking forward to doing everything with her. What did I want to be when I grew up? Okay, so I wasn't that focused on what I wanted to be when I grew up. I was kind of just, trying to figure out how to live life. So I wasn't, and I really didn't have any idea. I know I did tell people that I wanted to be a pastry chef for a long time. Probably not for any other reason that I like to eat dessert. I didn't really like to make them, but that's what I told people I wanted to be. How many bones have I broken, and what are they? So I have broken 2 bones. I broke my first left rib, which is like, I didn't even know it was a real bone. It's right under the collarbone, and it's like a little U-shaped bone. Really no story, no good story. It was just hurting for like a year, and I was seeing like a chiropractor and getting massages and all this stuff. And then one night it just like really hurt really bad, and I couldn't get up off the floor, and I went to the emergency room the next day, and they took an x-ray, and sure enough it was broken in half. So that was really weird. I think it was just a stress fracture that just kept getting worse and worse. The second one, I broke my my ring finger. It was when I was living in Denver, and I actually caught somebody breaking into my car. So I chased him down and basically tackled him and punched him and broke my finger on his face and held him there and called the police. And it was my first citizen's arrest, and I think there'll be more. There'll be more on the horizon. What are my worst habits? Well, for one, I leave all the kitchen cabinets open after I cook anything. Like I'll look over and it looks like a bomb went off in the kitchen. Other bad habits. I think Gillian would say that I speak too loudly in public, and when I should be using my inside voice when I'm saying things about things I shouldn't be saying in public. What else? I'm gonna have to do this one over. I don't have any bad habits. Too beautiful, too strong, too kind, too humble, you know. Okay, what pets did I have growing up? So I had a number of pets. I had a few turtles that we'd find. I'd always find a turtle and then, capture it for a few days. I named them all Speedy. We just grab the turtle, bring it inside, put it in a tank, and then, I don't know, it would have diarrhea or something, and then we'd be like, okay, better let this thing go, and let it go. So there was 4 or 5 Speedies. In 4th grade, I got a pet snake named Curly, a ball python. My dad said if I got an A in math, he would get me a snake, and I did, and he did. So I had Curly for a number of years. Got rid of Curly when I was in high school. We had a dog growing up, Toto, which was my mom's dog, a little black shaggy terrier. I got another snake in college, Steven, kind of on a whim. There's a pet store by the breakfast place we went to, and stopped in there and picked up little Steven. He lived in I didn't get a cage for Steven for the first few months, so I just kept him in either my pocket or my sock drawer in the fraternity house. So he was a good friend, and I had him for a while, and now I have Popper, my beautiful dog, whom I love, and she lives with me. How many tattoos do you have? I have 2 tattoos. I have my fraternity on my ankle, and I have my mom's name on my ass. What's your favorite drink? Well, I like to drink a lot of things. I like water, love milk, I love chocolate milk. Eggnog is good. I got eggnog on the brain due to the season. Alcoholic drinks, I like to drink scotch, and I love a White Russian. Those are good. And rum and Coke are good. IPAs are gross. So I got a few favorites. Hard to narrow it down, but yeah. It's good to stay hydrated. What's your most embarrassing moment? So I think I've blocked out most of the embarrassing moments just mentally. One that comes to mind from high school, it was like my first high school party. I was maybe like a sophomore and maybe a freshman even. And I had never been to like a high school party, a drinking party. And anyway, I got there and it seemed like it was in this big mansion on the water. And I told my parents I was going to be spending the night at my friend Beef's house, and we both went over to this mansion. And I got there and it seemed like everybody was like, oh, I've had 4 beers, I've had 8 beers, I've had 2 beers. Anyway, I felt like I had to catch up, so I didn't know my limits at all. I ended up getting absolutely hammered, like blackout drunk, and I remember they put me in the shower for some reason, and then my friend Austin was like, oh yeah, but when people go in the shower, they take their clothes off. So they took all my clothes off, and they were like running cold water over me, and I was like totally out of it. I remember they were like, they held me up and they're like, you good? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And they let go of me and I like fell over and it was a mess. But anyway, how it ended was my parents came and they ended up fireman carrying me over their shoulder, or somebody's shoulder. I think it was my dad. He later told me just a few years ago, butt naked throughout this whole party through like my whole high school, basically. And then I had confirmation practice the next day and I felt like absolute death. And everybody was like, you were in fine form last night. Luckily, I was in such a state that I was able to block out most of it. I remember waking up for just a brief moment that night on my living room floor and seeing my mom on the couch and just thinking, I'm in big trouble, and then passing back out. But I would say that's probably in the top 5. I'm sure there's worse things, but I blocked them all out, so, That's pretty good, though. It's pretty embarrassing. What's your best party trick or talent? Okay, I told Whitney I would do this for you guys on camera, and I'm not really looking forward to it. But I can make myself barf on command, no hands, at any point, for any reason. I can just barf. So I was made aware that this isn't very common. But yeah, I can barf on command. So it's a pretty cool trick, and maybe I will show you, or maybe I won't. If I could take one thing on a deserted island with me, what would it be and why? I mean, practically, it would probably be like a fishing pole or like, some sort of survival gear. But I'll say I would bring Popper, my dog, with me just for companionship and protection. It could get lonely out there, so it'd be nice to have a little friend. All right, guys. So I'm gonna barf for you. Feel fine? Nothing in my mouth. Here we go. I love you, Gillian. I'm doing this for you. I love you, Gillian. Can't wait to marry you.